It's a wonderful, trivial, magical, whimsical, super duper musical, beautiful, tuneful Tuesday.
Hello, welcome back to Tuneful Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about a special kind of music called ragtime. Ragtime was invented in the early 1900s, around 120 years ago. During this time, Theodore Roosevelt was president of the United States, and some exciting things were happening in America. Like some special things were being invented, like plastic that we use today to make things like plastic cups, plastic plates, all these different things that are made of plastic. That was invented in the early 1900s. Also, air conditioning was invented in the early 1900s. That's something important that we use today. A vacuum cleaner was invented in the early 1900s, and even paper cups. The first college football game was played in the early 1900s. So these are some things that were happening. Now, things that were happening in music was African Americans were starting to come to have an important role in American music history. And this was before jazz, and this was right at the time when people were starting to listen to other kinds of music besides church music. And they were starting to want to use music as a dance genre and not just something that they listened to in their homes or at church. One very important African American composer was Scott Joplin. Scott Joplin, he was one of the first ragtime composers. Now, these ragtime pieces were called rags because during this time it was hard for someone who was African American to have their music published. So people would call them their pieces just rags, just an old rag. And so they kind of stuck and they called them ragtime. All right, and they would publish them. But Scott Joplin, he had a hard time getting his music published. So he started his own music publishing company when he was only 17. And so he would have different artwork on the sheet music. Now, sheet music was just a piece of paper that had like a folder, and when you opened it up, it would have the music for people to play on the piano. So on the cover of these pieces were different pieces of artwork. Like this one was for maple leaf rag, this was the pineapple rag, and then one of the most famous rags that he wrote was The Entertainer. And The Entertainer was used in over the course of time. It's been used in movies and commercials and even video games. So today we're going to do an activity with The Entertainer. It's only going to take 30 seconds, and you'll need a piece of paper. You can use a pen, a marker, or a pencil, and you'll need some crayons. Now, if you don't have crayons right now at your house, you can still do it with just a pencil. Okay, I'm going to start with my marker, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this music, The Entertainer. And at the beginning, it's going to have just a little bit of music that plays before the main part starts. So we're going to call that the introduction. So when that part starts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my marker just anywhere on my paper. And when the introduction starts, I'm just going to leave it there. But when the main part starts, I'm going to start moving my marker around. And when 30 seconds are up, I'm going to pick up my marker and I'm going to see what I have. Okay? So, Mr. Bose, let's hear The Entertainer by Scott Joplin. All right, so I've got my marker on my paper.
Not picking it up. Seconds is almost up.
All right, this is my squiggle art to The Entertainer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crayons and I'm just going to fill in some of these openings that I've made with my marker, my squiggle art. All right, I think I'm done. Here's my drawing from Scott Joplin's The Entertainer. All right, so I took the names of the people that sent me something from last week, and I'm actually going to draw, I think, 2 names this week, and I'm going to give some prizes out. So I will either mail it, or I may even have to bring it to your house. All right, so let's see what we got. The first winner is Tamaya Flakes. Tamaya sent me a video of her playing some bottles last week that she put some water in. So Tamaya, good job. I will definitely send you something. And then let's see who I have. Peyton Graham. Peyton Graham. Peyton sent me a video of her making some sounds by scraping an object with different things, and it caused it to make different sounds. All right, so this week, what I want you to do is listen to The Entertainer, just 30 seconds of it, and make your own drawing, and then take a picture of it and send it to me. If you don't have crayons or markers or even a pencil to do this with, just listen to it and send me a comment that says, you know, what you thought about it, or what did it make you think about, or just something about it, so you can be entered in next week's drawing. See you guys.